How to fix local server connection timeout error. Welcome back to Teknobalta. At Teknobalta, we have analyzed the persistent connection timeout issues players face when trying to join locally hosted servers. We observed that when players attempt to join a local ARK Survival evolved server via Steam invites, the connection often fails with a severe timeout error. This frustrating issue happens even when both players have incredibly fast network speeds and are clearly visible on the same friends list. Our team conducted extensive testing and compiled a comprehensive series of proven solutions to fully restore your multiplayer connectivity. Image 1. JPG TXT. During our testing, we discovered that the primary cause of this timeout is a hidden mismatch in the Steam client download region settings. You must ensure that both the host and the joining player have the exact same download region selected within their Steam preferences. Navigate directly to your Steam settings, select the Downloads tab, and match the specified region precisely with your friend to synchronize your connection routing. Image 2. JPG TXT. After synchronizing these specific regional settings, the host needs to completely shut down the active local server session. You must then restart the game client and launch the server again to properly apply the newly adjusted regional matchmaking parameters. This simple but mandatory reboot allows the Steam backend services to register your synchronized network locations and successfully clear the timeout block. Instead of relying solely on the Steam overlay invite mechanism, we highly recommend having the joining player search for the host directly through the built-in game server browser. Our team found that bypassing the external invite system frequently resolves the invisible server display issue entirely. Both the host and the client must open their Steam library, right-click the game title, and carefully navigate to the installed files properties. Run the verification tool immediately to identify and seamlessly replace any damaged network configuration files on your storage drive. You need to open your advanced firewall settings and manually create explicit inbound and outbound rules for the main game executable file. Ensure that both private and public network communication permissions are explicitly granted to the server application. Image 2. JPG. For users locally hosting the session on their own hardware, manual port forwarding remains an absolutely critical requirement for stable direct connections. Access your router administration panel through your web browser and permanently forward UDP and TCP ports 7777, 7778, and 27015 directly to your local machine. This configuration directs all incoming player traffic exactly where it needs to go without unnecessary router security intervention. If your router relies entirely on dynamic host configuration protocol, your internal IP might change after a simple system reboot, instantly breaking all your previously established port forwarding rules. Locking down your IP4 address strictly ensures your server remains perpetually reachable at the exact designated local destination. Image 2. JPG. At Teknobalta, we consistently noticed that third-party active antivirus suites frequently flag local server traffic as a false positive security threat. Temporarily disable any active real-time security shields or deep web protection modules entirely before launching the multiplayer server environment. If this adjustment permanently resolves the timeout, safely add the entire local game directory to your antivirus exclusion whitelist. Open the command prompt application as a system administrator and execute the standard flush DNS command, followed by a complete Winsock catalog reset. Restart your personal computer immediately afterward to efficiently rebuild a completely clean and highly responsive network stack. Navigate carefully to the Windows Device Manager, locate your specific motherboard network adapter, and force a manual driver firmware update directly from the official manufacturer website. Avoiding the generic default Windows drivers significantly improves your local server uptime and absolute connection stability. Open your Active Network Adapter Properties menu and completely uncheck the Internet Protocol version 6 box to disable it, forcing your operating system to communicate exclusively over standard IP4 fundamentally eliminates unnecessary protocol translation delays. We highly recommend migrating your active network IP4 settings to a much more reliable public DNS provider like Google or Cloudflare. This strategic optimization drastically reduces the measured latency during the initial server query and perfectly prevents the internal timeout threshold from being reached. Close the Steam application completely from your system tray, then right-click the desktop shortcut icon and deliberately select Run as Administrator. This elevated operational permission level grants the client software full unhindered authority to establish secure localized network sockets. If manual port forwarding seems overly intimidating, simply log securely into your router dashboard and toggle the UPnP setting to Enabled. This automated protocol empowers the game server to dynamically open and close the exact necessary network ports it requires upon every launch. Image 1. JPG Active Background Virtual Private Networks completely mask your actual local IP routing, making direct LAN or peer-to-peer connections functionally impossible. Ensure all active VPN software, custom proxy browser extensions, or hidden tunneling applications are entirely disabled on both connected computers. The host machine and joining client must exist on perfectly transparent network routes to establish a direct and secure peer-to-peer handshake. Open the specific game properties inside Steam and type Custom Timeout Extenders or Direct Connection flags right into the Launch Options text box. These specific command line arguments effectively instruct the game engine to wait significantly longer before forcefully terminating a heavily lagging player connection. Navigate directly to your Steam Download Settings menu and click the Clear Cache button to force the desktop application to restart itself. This critical wipe destroys corrupted temporary session tokens and generates a completely fresh authenticated identity for secure multiplayer communication. We strongly recommend actively checking the Windows Update interface and deliberately installing all optional hardware driver updates and essential security patches. A fully updated underlying operating system inherently guarantees maximum possible compatibility with all modern multiplayer networking protocols. Both users must carefully verify the exact build number displayed natively on the main menu screen to guarantee perfect software parity. If an active update is pending silently for just one single player, the host server will intentionally time out the inbound connection request. Image 2. JPG Finally, our dedicated team verified that a hard physical hardware reset of your personal routing equipment perfectly clears chronically congested network translation tables. Unplug the main power cable directly from both your modem and your router, wait exactly 60 seconds, and securely plug them back into the wall outlet. This physical power cycle completely flushes trapped erroneous data packets and quickly establishes a remarkably fresh, perfectly stable line to your internet provider. Image 1. JPG. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.